or cut open. So yeah, no, this is cool. I mean, honestly, this is in a weird, really weird way. This is kind of always what I felt like I needed in my career. You can't just always keep winning and excelling, you know. You have to hit some type of plateau or something, you know. So I'm actually really happy that this happened, or I'm like relieved that, okay, this is what it feels like to lose.
Is that like a strange realization to you at all? I mean, hearing it, it's a little surprising. You don't really hear that often from champions that just lost their belt. So is it kind of, even for you, kind of an odd feeling?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, it's like I always say going into all my fights, like, I'm going to lose this fight. I'm going to lose this fight. And then it actually happens. I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. I really lost this fight. And, but you know, I've always felt that how you respond to any adversity is what really makes you, you know? And like, so I'm good. I'm so good right now. I feel more bad for my fiance that he had to watch me get all bloodied up. This is his first fight that he's ever watched me fight. So sorry, babe, but I promise I'm okay. Mom, Dad, I'm okay. These are tears of like relief. You know, it's hard being the champion. It is hard being the champion. It's hard being it for so long. So I'm really grateful for this experience in this moment.
And I'm assuming part of this maybe relief is realizing what's going to come out of it. So do you feel like this is going to motivate you, kind of kickstart you, maybe take you to places that you haven't been before?
Yeah, you know, it's sometimes I feel like as champion, you kind of don't get that luxury of I guess like choosing your fights or you know, like I don't know, I guess taking like really crazy fights. Like I've always wanted to be that fighter that takes a fight on 2 weeks notice, you know? And I guess just you really do almost have some more freedom when you're not at the top. So I'm excited for this next chapter. And I was joking with my corner. I was like, yay, that means I don't have to train for 5 rounds anymore in camp. I can have a 3-round camp, you know? And then I was like, well, you know, there might be a rematch or maybe we'll do a tournament. So I guess I'm still going to have to train for 5 rounds. But yeah, it just seems like there's a little bit more flexibility when you're not the champ.
And you mentioned the word relief. You know, there's a lot of things that come with having the belt. You're on posters, you're having shows in Hawaii. There's a lot going on. So is it kind of, for you, are you almost like happy to be able to kind of take a break from that for a second and maybe hit the reset button?
Yeah. And that's not to say that, like, you know, I think even if I'm not the champ, I'm still going to be headlining a show in Hawaii. Like I can't not, you know, fight on the Hawaii card. So it's okay. I know that Hawaii's going back. And I was telling like the production team, I was like, you guys, I promise I'm going to try win the belt back just so we could go to Hawaii. I'm doing it for you guys. So yeah, this is definitely not the end of Bellator Hawaii, and it's not the end of the road for me either.
Yeah. So I heard you mention the tournament. You still got your fingers crossed that that's going to be the next move.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think it was going to, or should happen regardless of who the champion is. I think, you know, our division's really sick and people would love to see a tournament.
Last one for me. The matchup itself, when you were in there, what was it about her and the matchup that she presented to you that you kind of struggled with? You know, what do you think the issue was that you're walking away? You're like, hey, I got to fix this.
It was definitely like way too long trying to feel her out, you know. In between rounds, I'm talking about corner. I'm like, like she doesn't hit that hard, or like, oh, she wasn't that strong on the ground. But it's like, it still took me too long. You can't spend an entire round trying to figure that out, you know. And yeah, I think I was just, I just tried the feeling out process for too long, but not to take away from her performance. Like when she did land, she freaking hit me like a brick, you know? I think, yeah, on that knee, I just saw the flying knee. It didn't even register that it hit until I walked to the corner and I just felt my nose pour and I was like, oh shit, like she really hit me on that one. She landed that. So yeah, just too much feeling out. And, but she was prepared. Don't get me wrong. She was very, very prepared.
Actually, one more. Think it's broken, your nose?
Oh yeah, it's totally broken. And I'm like, I would always joke too that I didn't think I was anatomically able to break my nose because I have like a flat Hawaiian nose from my mom, but that shit broke tonight. So I have to go, and they're like, you're gonna have to go get stitched up. And I'm like, but I need to play the slots. Like I'm on the 5:30 shuttle. I don't have time to go to the hospital. So I think I'm gonna get stitched up when I go back to San Diego.
Thanks.
All right, we'll take a few more questions here. Jay Anderson.
Hey, Ilima, thanks very much. I appreciate you taking the time tonight. I'm just wondering, heading into the 5th round, what your thoughts were and what your corner said to you going into that final frame.
Honestly, I knew I was losing the fight going to the 5th round, and I knew she knew that. So I knew that, they were going to really, my only chance was trying to take her down like I did in the 4th. So I knew that they were just going to be prepared for it. Like, watch out for her desperation takedowns, but yeah, I knew I was losing it going into the 5th round.
And you do sound almost relieved to have some of the pressure of being champ off you. And I know you mentioned the tournament as a possibility, but would you want some time off now? Like, what's kind of the plan moving forward in your mind?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take a little break. Yeah, I'm just laughing. This is an inside joke with my team, but yeah, I'm going to take a break. But I do like that. Well, it's interesting because as champ, I really liked that twice a year schedule that I had. It gave me time to put in a solid camp and do my other stuff that I do in the, outside of the cage, like my charity and everything. But now that I'm not the champ, again, like I said, I would love to be one of those fighters that takes fights on a couple weeks notice, or, so I think actually being more active would be a good option for me.
Keith.
Hey, Ilima, it's Keith Shillen from Sherdog. Good to talk with you again. So one thing that really impressed me tonight with you is just your character. Your sportsmanship afterwards is so impressive. It seemed like Twitter was all saying the same thing. I think it shows right now that, it's very rare for fighters after a loss to talk with the media, but you're willing to do that. Like, why are you willing to do that?
Why do I do it? I really like Juliana. I've always liked her. I've always liked how respectful she was to people. So, I mean, you could see how grateful and emotional she was afterwards. I'm genuinely happy for her. This isn't fake. This is me. Like, she's going to be an amazing champion. So I think it had a lot to do with her, my opponent. If it was someone else I didn't like, I'll probably be like, whatever, I don't give a shit, I'll walk out, but her as a person, I think she's going to do really amazing. And also, like, this game isn't just about winning and losing and being a champion, like Bellator. I know this one, I don't want to be presumptuous, but I know this one kind of hurts for a lot of people in Bellator because I'm really have a good relationship with a lot of people. I consider them my family. So, I can't just, if I walked out, I would just be writing off everyone else here, everyone in Bellator who has built me up and gave me this opportunity and has treated me so well. So yeah, again, like, I'm not just going to be a sourpuss and walk away from all of this. This is still part of the journey, and this is still part of my story.
My last question, and first of all, that response was absolutely incredible. My last question, I know you got to get out of here. You just said how hard it was being a champion. Other champions have said similar things. You just talked about how much you like Juliana. I know she's still, a future opponent. You don't want to give her too much advice, but from one champion to another, what advice would you give her to make her road as a champion easier?
She already said it, that she doesn't want to be a champion just inside the cage. She wants to be a champion outside. And I think that's like one of the most important things, as not just a champion or as a fighter, but just as a person, So she's already on the right path. That's exactly what I would have told her, is to carry yourself like a champion outside of the cage. Being a champion outside of the cage is more important than what you do inside the cage. So she's already got down.
All right. Thanks for the time, Ilima. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.